So let's go on now to the absorbent mind, a little bit more detail on what happens in this period of time. The mind is like a sponge. I mean, it's an interesting analogy, and we can liken it to the difference between the absorbent mind and the reasoning mind of a camera versus a drawing. If I take my camera and take a photograph of you, it's an exact replica of what you're wearing, the expression on your face, all the detail. If I were an artist, which I'm not, but if I were to be an artist, yeah, my son is, my daughter is, and try to sketch you, I could choose which details I wanted to focus on. So that's kind of like the absorbent mind. It takes a photograph of things in the environment. It processes it deep internally, and through what Montessori called a form of mental chemistry, the child takes in and literally becomes what he has experienced. Then when he goes into the reasoning mind, learning is not so easy. It's no longer absorbent. The child has to reason, memorize, think about things. So this absorbent mind has the great, wonderful quality of sensitive periods. So if we go on to our next slide, we'll see a little girl who is in the throes of a fascination with the cylinder blocks. Now, as an adult, we can't even begin to explain why she's doing it. Montessori's first realization of sensitive periods, she saw a little 4-year-old do this 42 times in succession. Take these cylinders out, put them at random, put them back in, take them out, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Amazing concentration.
The repetition is such an important part of it.
Amazing repetition. So I guess the thing about these sensitive periods in development, and they come with movement, with language, with vision, with various facets of development. But we can't start them. We can't stop them. But Montessori was the first to really identify them. And it's been now neurological research in the past few years that has substantiated them. So the point I would like to make about these sensitive periods is that there are laws of development in the physical dimension, right? I mean, we all know that children are going to start to walk at about the same time, no matter where in the world they live. They're going to start to talk. They lose their milk teeth, and, we see this in lower elementary children. They lose their teeth. They become slimmer, tougher, more independent. It happens all over the world. So her point is that there are stages of development and laws of development in the psychological and emotional realm as surely as there are in the physical
Going
realm.
on at the same time.
We haven't fully understood them, but yet they're there. And as a physician, Montessori knew that we have to take care of the physical body to make it grow. Physical hygiene changed the death of children all over the world when we learned simple things. Childbirth, wash your hands before you... Well, one of her amazing teachings was that we need a hygiene, a mental hygiene, a spiritual hygiene, when we truly understand the needs of our children and work with them rather than violate them unconsciously because we don't understand.
Right. So this seems to me that this has something to do with the child developing self-esteem. The confidence piece is very much a part of this, isn't it?
It absolutely is. When a child encounters a sensitive period, gets really interested in doing something, is allowed to do it, whether it's picking up beans out of mama's, a bowl of beans and just putting them in and out, whether it's doing the cylinder blocks, whatever it's doing. When the child completes it to his inner satisfaction, which we can't monitor, we just can observe, we find that the child develops confidence. I can do it. I have a sense of myself. My learning cycles are being honored. And
this is such an important part of how we as parents and educators, we want the most for our children, and there's some essential key components here. What you're talking about goes along with giving the good nutrition, the right toys that are more an opportunity to learn through learning games, opportunities to feed their growing minds based on their specific sensitive periods. There's a lot of pieces here, aren't there?
Well, Montessori said it's like these sensitive periods as a drama of love between the child and his environment. And I think it's so interesting to note that very often we may see our child struggling with something, and we step in and do it for him. And what happens? The child screams with a tantrum.
Oh, I've seen them do that over and over again.
It happens all the time. And what Montessori teaches us is that everything you do for the child that he can do for himself is an obstacle to his development.
Those are pretty strong words.
I want to repeat them. And just think about it, moms and dads out there. Everything you do for your child that he can do for himself is an obstacle to his development. It's an obstacle to that confidence.
Yes.
You know, when you
Yes,
think about a
yes.
little child just learning to walk, and you put him in a stroller and don't let him walk, you know, subconsciously, well, why should I bother?
Exactly.
Somebody could get me where I need to be. I don't need to even try. And we have to learn to observe our children more closely and begin to understand what it is we're seeing. And I think ultimately that was Montessori's great gift. She was so astute in standing back and observing what the children were showing her. She always said, the children are my teacher, you know?